What's up, guys? JJ here, and Kael is not the best starting champion. Changed my mind. So really, I think if anybody's looked this up, you'll probably find if you look up what 10 content creators are saying about which starting champion you should use, 10 of them are going to say Kael. I'm like the one person who says different, and I'll tell you why. So let's look at our champions here. Actually, let's look through the index. Kael is not a high elf, he's a dark elf. Let's look at his base stats. So Kael stats, 13,700 HP, 1,200 attack, a little over 900 defense, and 103 speed. Alright. Now, who do I think could possibly be the best starting champion? Well, I'm going to go on over to Secret Order, and that's right, Aethel. I think Aethel could be the best starting champion. Her stats are 13,500 HP, just shy of 1,200 attack, 936 defense, and 104 base speed. So, their stats are very similar, and if you look at Elhain and Galek, they're not too different either. So, there's just a little bit of trade-off. I believe Kael starts out with about 200 more HP, but a little less defense. Kael has a little more attack, 11 more attack than Aethel, and Aethel has 1 more speed. So really, it's just a trade-off here. But I think what people really like when people recommend Kael as a starting champion, comes down to his skill set. But I also think that Aethel's got some skills that people are kind of sleeping on. So let's take a look. Kael's A1, Dark Bolt, attacks one enemy, 80% chance of placing the small poison. I believe that's 100% chance when booked. Acid Rain, the big AoE nuke, has an extra 15% chance of inflicting a critical hit, which means you only have to build him out to 85% crit rate if this is where you need the big crit. And then his A3 attacks 4 enemies at random, has a 40% chance of placing the big boy poison, which I believe is 50% when booked. Alright. So the part that kind of sticks Kael out is he's got poisons. He's not a lot of rare champions have a poison on 2 different abilities. So him being able to place it, even though it's just a small one on his A1, and then being able to hit that 4-hit poison on his A3 is pretty valuable. So when we look at Aethel, her A1 attacks one enemy 3 times, has a 75% chance of placing a 25% weaken for 2 turns, and I believe that's up to a 100% chance when booked. Then her A2, the big nuke, attacks all enemies, has a 15% chance of inflicting a critical hit as well. So that's the same as Kael. You only have to build her out to about 85% crit rate for that to hit. Now, here's what's unique about Aethel. Is this A3 here, Higher Blessing, places a 25% increase attack buff on this champion for 2 turns. Places a 30% increased defense buff on this champion for 2 turns if her HP is less than 50%. And here's what'll get you guys. Here's what it's all about. Gains an extra turn. So that means in 1 turn, Aethel can go, increase her attack, take another turn, and hit that A2 nuke. And you don't need another champion. You don't need another debuffer or buffer for the decreased defense or increased attack as much, because she's already doing that on her own and then taking another turn. Now, what I do think people would lean towards Kael for is his poison, because it's absolutely great. But when we look at Aethel, she's got that 3-hitter on her A1. So she's going to be great for Fire Knight, and all in all, I think she's a little better at wave-based content. And what do you really need for your starting champion as you're beginning in those first levels of Raid Shadow Legends, as you're trying to level up and get some stars on all your champions? You need to be able to get through wave content. You need a campaign farmer. And in my opinion, Aethel is a better campaign farmer, and we can look at the data. So we can run a little test here. Now, neither one of them has the craziest gear, just because where my account is. But let's look. And we'll run solos of Aethel, and we'll run solos of Kael, and we'll compare. Let's start with Kael here, since a lot of people start with him anyway. So here he comes, Acid Rain, boom, knocks him out. Now we've got to wait for that acid rain to come back around, which is why if you're really picky, like once you progress in your account, maybe you're not using a starting champion, you're using somebody with A1 AoE attack. Okay, we're through in 22 seconds. And then we have to wait for that A2 acid rain to come around again. Okay, he's got 1 knocked out, 2 knocked out. How did he get extra turns? And then there's the acid rain. That was the strangest run. That was the strangest run I've ever seen. Oh, maybe it's in his masteries. So that was 43 seconds. I do believe he'll do it a little faster. Let's hit it one more time. Now we do have to wait for acid rain to come back around, that A2. And there it goes, 19 seconds. Oh, he one-shot that guy. On the A1, I didn't know he could do that. So we're waiting for his AoE to come back around. And here he goes. We're down at 37 seconds. Alright, not bad. Let's edit our team. Let's take him out. And let's put Aethel in. Now, where I think Aethel is going to be stronger is she's got that A3 that grants an extra turn. So she goes Divine Blades here. And then when she hits that A3 again, ooh, another Divine Blades. So she already got that turn back around. And she's definitely going to come in a faster time than Kael. And we gave Kael a couple chances, to be fair. So there's the extra attack. Boom, knocked out. 23 seconds. Now, in defense of Kael, I do have to say that our masteries are different. So I have Kael on, what's that, War Master. And I have Aethel on Helm Smasher. Because, I mean, obviously, if I'm using Kael, I'm using him against bosses. So he needs that War Master ability, whereas I am using Aethel for more wave-based content. I use her in Arena some still, and she's in Helm Smasher. So she ignores some defense. But all in all, she's still always going to farm the waves faster because she can bring that extra turn around. And she doesn't need a buffer to increase her attack. She can do it to herself. Alright, so, in my opinion, well, I mean, it's basically facts, I think. You can tell me if it isn't. If I'm making up facts, let me know. But Aethel's just better for wave-based content because she comes around and she can increase her own attack. Now, I would prefer Kael against a lot of bosses, especially clan boss. But let's look at some places I would say are going to be better for Kael or better than Aethel. So when you're looking at dungeons, Aethel is 100% the better Fire Knight champ because she has that 3-hit on her A1. So you don't have to wait for it to come around. Every time she takes a turn, she's hitting that shield for 3 turns. Now, I would definitely prefer Kael for Spider's Den. And I think the other dungeons, you can really go back and forth. You don't have the poison, but Aethel does have that weaken. So she does still get that damage in and helps her team get that damage in. Oh, you know what I don't do? Let's see what the internet says about their rankings. Like, where are the stats? I forget. I haven't looked in so long because you should basically just ignore the ratings they put in these games. Reviews. There we go. So 4.8 on Clan Boss for Kael. That makes a lot of sense. 4.7, 4.8, 4.3 on Arena. Actually, for a rare champion, he's ranked really high. So let's see. Aethel's 4.5 on Clan Boss. Which makes sense because she doesn't have that poison. But campaign, she does have higher scores. Arena offense, she's got higher scores. Well, actually, that was her. What was Kael's Arena offense? Okay, so they're tied. So, I mean, the reviews really go both ways, guys. So if you were looking up and searching which starting champion you should start out with, then none of them are bad out of the 4. They all have pretty similar base stats. And you just have to choose your preference. And honestly, they're all rare champions, so you'll get them eventually. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments. Who is the best starting champion? I know a lot of people say Kael, but I wanted to shine some light on somebody who does some other things better. So let me know. And if you like videos like these, hit that like button and subscribe for more content. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.